Hello, everyone. Welcome to ATL Falcons UK. This week, me and Cal are joined by Nico, who is all the way from Germany supporting the Falcons, which is almost as bad as us supporting them from England. And then we've got Jelani on that's been on before, so you'll probably recognise his face. But fellas, thank you for coming on to start with. And I'm sorry that it's going to be a morbid show because, of course, this is loss number 4 of the season. So I'll let Cal get us going and we'll just cry together.
Yeah, so obviously another loss on the board. Not one that I sort of expected. I thought it was a bit of a 50-50 game going into it, obviously losing 19-13, a very underscoring game. I think I had it over 50 points between both teams. But I don't think many people shown up. I think the offense was poor throughout. I think the defense was 95% poor, apart from the odd few plays and the few thingies. Q ended up missing a field goal, so that just sums everything up really. But I'll start with Jelani and just take on your overall view, and then we'll move on to sort of individual parts of the game.
Of course. So yeah, like you said, it was pretty just stagnant game. It was kind of boring. It did kind of get off to a hot start, I think, with the defense causing the turnover literally on the first play. I was like, all right, we're gonna score right here. It's a short field. Obviously we scored. We just didn't score in the form and fashion that I would want to. I feel like on a short field like that, you have to score a touchdown. That kind of sways the momentum and kind of puts your mark on the game right there. But only settling for a field goal, that kind of gives the defense, a lot more confidence. Like, okay, we stopped them on a short field. Like we're in this pretty much. Like we held them to 3 points. So, and then of course with them getting guys back like Gilmore and Shaq Thompson, like of course they're going to be fueled and ready to, pretty much play the game. So I felt like we had to score on that possession right there. But just going throughout the rest of the game, we did end up scoring. Cordell Patterson, of course, came in clutch again, catching the ball and scoring. I think it put us up 10-3. I thought from there we kind of get like a little bit of momentum, but the rest of the half, the offense kind of just staled out. The defense did their job for the most part, but towards the end of the half, of course, let up that field goal, which gives the team momentum going into halftime. Like I said, you cut the score to a one point lead or 1 point deficit, and you're pretty much hadn't found no rhythm offensively the entire game. Like that's going to give you some confidence going into the second half. So they came out ready to play. We didn't. And like I said, it kind of was just a dreary day here in Atlanta. I'm sure a dreary day over there in Germany and London as well. So just it wasn't the best of outcomes. Like you said, Cal, it was a team that I felt like we matched up with well, and then also would have showed us kind of where we are in our division. Like we already know the Saints and Bucks right now are 1 and 2. But winning the 2 previous games back to back, I felt like, all right, we're building some momentum. We beat the Panthers, and we're kind of right there neck and neck with the Saints, who we have to play next week anyway. So now it's going to be tough. We play them. They're coming off a big win against the Bucks. They're really, hype off of that. Obviously, we're kind of down on our luck right now. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what next week brings as well. But of course, I know we got to stay on this week.
Yeah, I agreed. Nico, do you want to give your overview and then we'll break it down a little bit?
All right, let's do this. First of all, thank you for having me here. Some good energy to see some familiar faces, even after a bad football night. Yeah, not a lot of good things to talk about. The offense did not work well. Matt Ryan was under pressure all the time. We let the defense on the field too much time. So of course the guys were damaged. They made the job. So we just got the 1 touchdown at the end of the game, and there was still a chance all the time we could win this and we could go in front. But yeah, after all, the offense didn't make it. So receivers never free really. Gage was completely out of the game, and the O-line looks like it was not existing. It was not existing, and this is terrible. This is typical Falcons O-line. I thought I would never see this again, but yeah, here we are.
Time again.
That was one of the problems, weren't it? Like I think they only give up, was it 3 or 4 sacks in the last couple of weeks? I think on the first drive, as soon as we got the ball back, Matt Ryan gets sacked on the first play, and you're thinking, shit, straight away.
Right. It was good while it lasted.
But I think, as Jelani said, when you get the ball back instantly, you got the ball back in the second half, and you get turnover straight away. That 3 points, you're thinking, well, it is a free. Like me and Danny was like it's a free 3 points, but when you look at it sort of in scale, you're thinking we didn't even make a first down on it. It was an awful play. It's like
we lost yards.
Ready for it. So obviously you take the 3, but it's one of them where if you get the 7, you get the touchdown there and it sets a precedent for the game. But after that, it's just, and I know that their defense is pretty good and it's building, and we've got Gilmore coming in, etc. But I think with our offense, even without Ridley, I still think we should have been putting more points on the board and finishing. I think was it the first 2? I don't think we got a first down in the first 2 of our plays, which our first 2 drives don't help straight away. So it sort of sets precedent for the game after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just whilst I'm picking up the comments, I know it's a little bit off cue, but the hit on Darnold was the only entertaining part of the game, not the most.
The
that
run
one
of Davis
and
was
the Robbie
also
Anderson
amazing.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, hats off to Harris for that one, because that was a hard blow, but that's about as good as it got on any side of the field for us. Arthur Smith said in his post-match interviews that it was both lines of scrimmage that lost us the game, and as we briefly covered, that is pretty much bang on. Like you said, Nico, Matt Ryan had about half a second every single time he got the ball, if that, and then
literally nothing.
It literally, and then the D just showed exactly why we are bottom of the sack list, I think, at the moment in time. I'm pretty sure we were when I checked last week, so can't imagine that's changed. But anything to add on any individuals from the D or the O-line? But
just one thing I want to mention before is I think they've took like a lot of sacks in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And did we get a sack in the game? I don't know.
No, we put up another goose egg. No sacks for us.
But you're doing that against a team that's been sacked absolutely shitloads in the last couple of weeks, and we can. I know we know what our defense is like, but to not get a sack against these lot overall was sort of embarrassing to the point. It was like, how have we not at least got one on the board?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, obviously I know we were missing Devontae Fowler, who's having a little bit of a resurgent year, but still, even with him being out, there should be some type of pressure being created on the outside, and that just kind of shows. I'm gonna hit on the offense as well, but on the defense side, it kind of shows there's certain guys that we trusted or having in place or drafted that haven't stepped up to the plate, like John Kaminsky. I know Steven Means got hurt at some point, but I don't even know why he's still on the roster to begin with. I know we played some of the younger guys, like I know someone mentioned earlier, Ade. And I forgot we drafted another one from Texas. I don't even know if you really played yesterday at all, but it just. You got to create some type of pressure. Like you said, if there's a team's coming off of giving up, so many sacks the last few weeks, and they're on a 3-game losing streak, and you got to be licking your chops at that. This should be a personal challenge. Like I said, younger guys or veterans, I got to come off the line ready to hit it. We can't allow, or even if that contains some type of, you got to contain the pocket. Darnold almost outran the whole team. We only put up 82 rushing yards, and he had 66 himself. That's terrible. That's crazy. And Darnold's not known for his mobility. Yes, he can extend the play or, get out of the pocket and run. But I'm expecting 6-7 at most yards. I'm not expecting 20 whole yard runs from Darnold. So that goes on the defensive line, but also the secondary portion, linebacking crew with Dion and Foye. So I don't know. It's it definitely wasn't the greatest showing of them, but we've seen this through the past years, but we've seen it lapses this year. We'll do something good. We have one good play, and then we'll have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. So when you going back to the first, when you get a turnover from a team that doesn't cause many turnovers, like you said, Danny, we're probably in the bottom half of the league in sacks, turnovers, just total defense as a whole. You have to take advantage on the offensive end.
Absolutely.
That's the only way that we're going to be able to put together that's the only way we're going to be able to establish a winning type culture, and the only way we're going to be able to put together, quality possessions, because we didn't even have the ball that long yesterday either in order to win the game. You got to take those type of things into account. So
I agree.
Talking about the pressure we can bring on the quarterback over the whole season. For me, there's a point. So we always getting around him, but we never close.
Mhm.
We never close the area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in Germany, we say Sack zu machen. And the quarterback can always escape the pressure and step back and move around the pocket. And then we have those 20-yard runs from them.
Mhm.
I remember when we played against the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, and we make normal quarterback look like Jamar Jackson's, you know?
We do.
Yes, that's terrible. But also on huge third down situations, like
Yeah.
3rd and 19, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15. We never close those games. We always get another first down with a big throw and a big play. And every time we have this, I watch this and I know, fuck, something's gonna come. And
Every third down, it's ridiculous. It don't matter how long it is. They were 10 for 17 on third down yesterday.
Especially
Yeah.
against a team that
On
is
point.
awful on their third downs. Last week, I think they only finished 20% of them. And this week, they're finishing in probably 80, 90%. It was just like,
Yeah.
you can't write it. You can literally
Yeah.
not write it. You can't sack a team that's been sacked all season.
Exactly.
And then
we cannot blame the defense completely for this situation, but
They got to
This
find
is
a
exactly
way
the
out the
red
field.
line going through the whole season, all the time, all the games.
Yeah.
It's a point, and we have so much places to work on this team, so much problems. The coaching staff need to get solved with this thin roster on some possessions, and also with Calvin retiring likely now from football, we have a problem now in part of the team where we never supposed to have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, we've just had a pretty decent comment. Oh my god, it's covered both of your faces. I'm sorry.
Don't mind. I don't care.
But no, I mean, Jimmy's actually one of our mates, and he's not a Falcons fan by any means. But from people looking on the outside, saying stuff that you can always rely on Matt Ryan and Koo and people like that. But then when we said pre-show, actually, didn't we, Jelani, that when the second Koo missed the field goal, you knew that was it. The game was done. Like, he does not miss. So
we still only went down 2. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we hadn't stopped there. We hadn't really stopped them offensively. Like, they were able to move the ball down the field. And even though it was only down, I think it was 12-10 when he missed it. You know, they just were moving it with ease. So it was like, all right, I felt like a touchdown was coming. And it did come, actually. Yeah, they did score, I think, on that next drive. So it just sucked overall. Like, I guess, and the last thing I did want to hit on with the defensive line, I forgot, it's just like you said, Arthur Smith said the game was won and lost in the trenches on both sides. Like, defensively, like I don't know where they rank. Their offensive line ranks. It can't be that high. Got to be middle of the pack to the bottom of the league. But you can't allow them to push you around like that. Like, there's literally 4 guys that got in on the running game. Like I said, Hubbard had 82 yards. Sam Darnold 66. Abdullah was killing us on the ground and in the air. He had like 31, but also like I forgot how many receiving yards he had, but he had a good amount. Royce Freeman, like everybody got in on the action. So it's like you have to buck up at some point. Yeah, they only had 130 yards passing. Like, Sam Darnold didn't have to do anything in the air. Like, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, like all those guys weren't a factor. Like,
all in all, they got over 200 yards more than we reached the game, right?
Yeah, I think we only had 82. They had like a 203 rushing yards.
It's just unacceptable. One of the points that I thought was
when
obviously Matt Ryan's first interception, obviously his hand's bleeding, and I'm thinking, is it where, because we was in a decent position, so I don't really blame him for that interception. So obviously, when your hand's bleeding, it's it wasn't the best throw, we know that. But I think is that one where we could have took him out just for that play and tried running the ball because we knew it was a guaranteed 3 points. Like Josh Rossum could have just gone in just for that point. I don't know if that was obviously not. Matt Ryan wanted to stay in, you could tell he would, but that's a play where if Smith could be like, no, sort your hand out. Because it's obviously an issue because he was obviously pissing around.
Did you see the towel after he'd finished?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Just pure red. It wasn't like a little bit of blood. It was a pretty significant injury, which is why I think he should have come off. He should have taken him out for a couple of plays, got it assessed, got it strapped up properly. Instead of just squeezing a towel. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Fantastic. We also played in the white pants yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I guess Matt is kind of a player. He wants to stay in the game, even if his hand is bleeding a little bit. He wants to manage the offense. He wants to throw the ball and give us some points on the board.
Yeah,
he's the future.
Probably just felt like we had like a little bit of momentum, but like you guys are saying, like I feel like that, mentally it probably messed with them. Obviously, it probably was uncomfortable. Like you have your whole hand stepped on. Like I don't know, like it was obviously bleeding profusely. So mentally on that drive and probably throughout the rest of the game, even with the play calling, it probably changed a lot of things. But like at least on that drive, like you have a few other packages. Like we haven't ran it much, but I think Cordell, ran the Wildcat maybe a few times this year. Or even like you said, like bringing in Felipe Franks, let him hand the ball off or something, or just a screen pass, like something simple.
Yeah.
Not have to have him throw the ball down the field, but like something just to get his hand right, or just get your play calling right. Because he did try to force, like Shaq Thompson didn't come back into the play guide to try to force it. And I think the receiver kind of ran the route a little too deep, but regardless, like you say, it was still kind of a throw I know he would want to have back. And just probably a drive that you want to have back because, like I said, he probably just felt like we had the momentum. But, that's an important drive of the game because, like I said, we was in their territory. We could have probably scored on that possession as well. But to give the turnover just...
Yes. I suppose they are the difficult decisions that coaches have to make, though. I know Matt will have a contribution to that because he's so experienced, but that's where... He probably you don't win.
Or call a timeout
because maybe use a timeout, but then in hindsight later in the half, and then you actually need one, and you're like, fuck, we've used it.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, like Smith might have taken Matt out of the game, and whichever person he brought in to finish the plays could have turned it over, and then Smith would be like, that one's on me. Whereas he kept him in the game, and it came to nothing. Whereas that one's on him. So I don't think he could have won. It's just in hindsight, it was the wrong decision, probably.
I think going back to the O-line, obviously, we know how it was, but one of the players on that's got a PFF grade was Lindstrom, who's been sort of unreal, Mr. Consistent all season. Like Jim mentioned earlier, Koo's been Mr. Consistent, and then Lindstrom, he didn't. It was it was his by far his worst game this year. So it's like he's having a bad game, you think. Like you've got McGarry, who's sort of been consistently below average all season, and if you've got Lindstrom, who's everyone has a one-off game, I don't be blaming the individual because the whole team was poor, but it's them individual players that sort of boost us up. But it's just one of them where nothing worked for us. Ryan got half a second every time he dropped back, give 2 interceptions in the end. Defense didn't do what they needed to. But what me and Danny are going to talk is AJ Tyrell again. What a player!
Yeah,
absolutely, what a player!
What a guy!
Oh man,
I think I liked one of the stats earlier.
Like he only allowed like 2 maybe catches or 2. There's only 2 balls on his way. Like he only allowed like 2 catches. I think maybe like 3 yards or something like that.
He only gave up like 40 or 50 yards throughout the whole season. He did a PI call in London, which was sort of debatable. Apart from that, they don't want to. And he's not like he's not been against good receivers. Even the Bucs, he played well against the Bucs, and you got Evans and Godwin. He's been playing against everything, but you can tell they don't want to target his side, which is obviously beneficial to us without a doubt.
I'd like to emphasize that. When we made that pick the other year, 90% of the fan base on Twitter and social media were fuming, were not satisfied, didn't think he was the right man for the job, but it kind of proves why we all sit and watch the game from a sofa and people paid to pick the team. So definitely a fan's favourite.
To be fair, we didn't slag him off. I just want to get that out there.
No, we didn't.
Positive, but he's obviously the step-up player this year, without a doubt.
Of course, he's definitely having a great year, and like I said, people look at the numbers, they probably looking at Trayvon Diggs because, like, I won't lie, like those were my top 2 corners, but I did want Trayvon Diggs a little bit more, and I think it probably was just recency bias because obviously he had got torched in the national championship game, and I just felt like at the time before we got this new regime in that Diggs probably would have fit our defensive scheme a little bit better, but when we did have him, like, I'm gonna give him a chance. Obviously, like he hasn't touched NFL soil yet, and NFL coaches haven't got their hands on him yet. And look what he's doing. Like those obviously are the top 2 corners right now, I believe, from that class. Diggs has like 6 or 7 interceptions, but like Useless Gamer just said, you're allowing 2 catches and 1 yard in a whole game. Like that's spectacular. So
that's
like,
very good.
Definitely shout out. He's probably right now, if not on the whole team, definitely defensively, probably the MVP for our Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'd say so. Jones had a few sparks yesterday as well. If we're trying to pull out some positives, he was at his moments again. But I think just in all, there wasn't that many individual performances anywhere on the field that stood out enough to emphasize that much.
Addy did all right. Ogun Deji, however you say it.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember round we picked him in. Was it 5th or 6th?
It was later for sure. Probably
So
like
I think
5th or 6th.
I think he played 70% of the snaps as well, which is pretty high for it.
It's
74%, which is that's quite a lot considering he's obviously not played. So he was another positive for me, definitely.
I think I think Nico said it, like he did great causing the pressure, but we just, Sam Darnold found ways to get out and around.
It's like
the pockets.
Nico mentioned it earlier. We can't even against the Eagles. We got close to Hurts, and then he's gone a second. It's like we're getting past it. We're getting past that O line quite a bit. We just can't finish it off. But when you can't do it against this team,
sitting in front of the TV, it always looks like our pressure. It's coming around, but the circle never closes completely to lock down. And even if the quarterback's not scrambling outside the pocket, they still got the last second left to throw the ball 20 yards to his receiver. And I'm always thinking that, like, no, man, come on, how is this possible? DNPs need to find a way to, how can I say this? We need to close those situations down. If we get the pressure to the quarterback, I guess we are one of the teams who had the least sacks in the league right now because we're never coming to the man in motion with the ball. And to name another good one, another player that got a little bit of brighter light shining. JG Sharp is our 4th wide receiver yesterday. He got some good catches in very, very. I'm missing the word right now. In very important situations when we were on 3rd and 9 and he got the ball and just catch it in and fall to his bag and we got the first down. Perfect. Yeah. He played perfect.
Yeah.
But that's the only one.
Yeah. Just whilst we're on the topic of wide receivers there, somebody's commented about Mr. Ridley, of course. Do you think the absence of Ridley fills big holes in our offense? Yes, heavily, because even though Ridley's obviously has been in and out this season anyway for personal reasons and everything, but even when he's not in form, he's an option that the opponents have to take into consideration. So whereas you're looking at him and then you're looking at Pitts and then you're looking at the others as backups, you've removed that. So Pitts is your main man who's getting double teamed all the time. And then you've also taken out, I know he's been playing in a slightly different capacity than he has previously, but you're taking out his route running, which is incredible in comparison to anyone else on our roster and in comparison to most people in the division. So if he's going to be out for a little while, for me, that's something we've got to look at. We've got to consider getting someone on the books.
Yeah. Like you said, well, I guess to answer his question, I mean, I feel like our offense has kind of had holes in it in general. And I feel like, I don't know, the play calling just really still isn't there for me. I still don't think we're calling it. I think I said it last time I was on you guys' show that we're not really calling it to the strengths of our offense, but it's also like, at first it was the offensive line was the issue. Like we're not able to give Matt enough time to get the ball into playmakers' hands. But then I said, all right, we got to start running screens or something because a lot of teams do that. You see the Saints, the Bucks do it. Those teams are probably the two teams I think they do it the most. Like they just get the ball out, get to somebody's hand that can get you and make you a play. So that's one thing I feel like they should consider. But other than that, he Ridley not being there, obviously, like you said, Pitts was double teamed. I don't know the percentage, but it was a high percentage amount of the time yesterday. They had one guard and came in one over top pretty much the entire game, so it was hard to get him the ball. Like you said, Nico, Tajay Sharp kind of stepped up. I mean, I think he was tied for the most catches on the team yesterday, but it definitely hurts not having Ridley out there. Like you said, he's probably one of the better route runners in the league. He at least would be somebody else that you got to keep an eye on, outside of Pitts. And I don't think he played yesterday. Russell Gage, he's been definitely a disappointment.
Completely shut down.
because he's supposed to be that second receiver. Obviously, I knew we once we lost Julio, we knew we would kind of struggle a little bit with that receiving course, but I felt like collectively they were all good enough to step up because we've seen flashes from them, like Zacchaeus. We've seen flashes from him last year. Like say Russell Gage, flashes from him last year. Like there's a lot of guys that I felt like they had a big opportunity and just it's not there. It's we like literally don't have anybody to throw the ball. Matt has nobody to throw the ball to. Not we. Yeah. Matt doesn't have the ball. Has anybody to throw the ball to. So
Sharp sort of kept us in the game on. I think Nico mentioned it about the third downs. He caught 2 or 3 what sort of kept us in the game. I was like we needed 10, even 15 yards at times. But Russell Gage, I don't. Was he there? Did he play?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he didn't play. Like I don't remember seeing him on the inactive
list. Targets he got either, but
nothing. He's not
on
the stat list.
I didn't even remember his name getting called on the TV. Nothing.
Exactly. he had to be out. Like that's the only thing I can think of. But I also don't like that we don't need Hurst.
Is he a wide receiver 2, or is he just a wide receiver 3? Is that what he is? It's like obviously Ridley's gone up to wide receiver 1, obviously.
He's supposed to be
is Gage a 2?
Gage isn't a 2. Gage isn't a 2. He's not. He's a 3. Ridley's only just a 1 based on how he plays and stuff like that. So
I would say a lot of people don't even consider him.
Who's 2 then? Zacchaeus is also not a 2 for me.
Zacchaeus is barely a 3 sometimes, but this is the problem.
He was in a good way last year before he got injured, and now we're standing here having the problem. We only got Kyle Pitts as tight end, as top receiver maybe, and it's easy now for different defenses we play against to figure out who will get the ball when Ryan is going to pass, and the miss of Kevin Ridley is on the sports side of you. Will have a huge impact on our whole offense game. But the question was also asked yesterday in the press conference after the game. I'm sure Arthur Smith can find a way to play without him, like they did in London. So, there it was very clear at the beginning of the week, Ridley will not be with the team. And yesterday it was just hours before the game. Announced that he's not with the team, and I guess this affected the whole game plan extremely to our bad side, and luckily better for the Panthers, so they can they had Shaq Thompson and Gilmore playing a very outstanding game. Closing down our long routes. I hope he will fix this, but to be honest, I guess we have a huge problem in the offense now, a very huge problem. Because Ridley, I guess he will not return this year, if he will ever return.
This is something we wanted to get on anyway, so we may as well do it now. So, of course, he's come out himself and made the statement. I'm sure you've probably all read it. I will not read it out because I'll do it no justice whatsoever. But to summarize, he's basically dealing with some mental health problems and a little bit of personal issues right now, which we have obviously no problem at all with. As a franchise, though, how do you deal with that temporary situation? Because, of course, you're going to support Ridley and you want him there and he's fine and everything. But as an actual team, as a coach, Smith has to potentially plan from anywhere from him being out from 1 week until the end of the season, in theory, because there's absolutely no time limit on it. So do you always plan without him now, or do you still keep him in mind and then just hope that he finds his form later on?
First off, like prayers out to him. Hopefully, I think we all tweeted, but definitely hope he, everything is better. I know it's things that we've all had to deal with, or probably not to the same magnitude, or pretty much everyone has their set of problems that they have to deal with, and taking time to focus on your mental health is very, very important. I'm glad athletes are starting to do that nowadays. Hopefully, of course, he reaches out to Hayden Hurst, a teammate that has been open about it. So definitely shout out to him. I know we all were going to have his back, and the organization's going to have his back. But like you said, to Arthur Smith standpoint, like you got to plan without him in the lineup, like because it would just be an additive. Like you have to now plan, to be missing him for, if not the rest of the season, like at least a number of weeks, which is totally fine. And that's why I'm saying, like, that's when we have to start tailoring the offense to what we had. Like even with him in the lineup, I felt like we should have been doing some of this stuff, like I said, screenplays. Like we have Cordell Patterson. Like we signed Wayne Gallman, and he's a decent back. Like he can run the ball and he can be a threat in the passing game as well. And I know that's what you kind of have Cordell Patterson there for as well. No, Mike Davis got a few more touches yesterday. I feel like I feel like we need we're gonna start having to put Cordell Patterson, like spread him out in the slot or something. Just move him around a little bit more so you can get other guys that can be threats offensively in the game. Like I say, like a Wayne Gallman. I don't think he dressed yesterday, but I think that's just stuff that you got to do, especially if Calvin's going to be out. I wish and hope that they would figure out a way to get Hayden Hurst the ball a little bit more. Because I feel like the thing is, like yesterday they keyed in on Kyle Pitts, right? Because that he's been our hot guy. That's the main target. He's a big receiving threat. Yeah. If you get guys the ball in space or get other guys that are weapons, we don't have I think Hawks Fan TV said earlier, yes, we don't have the most talented roster, but these guys are professionals for a reason. If you can get their ball in their hands in some type of space and capacity, like they're going to make some type of plays for you. And we have guys that can do that. Like I trust Mike Davis a little bit with the ball. I trust Wayne Gallman, a little bit with the ball out the backfield, check down, whatever. Cordell Patterson, like all these guys, Hayden Hurst, even Russell Gage, if he does suit up, like I trust that they can get us 5-6 yards at least a pop with some type of screen plays or short pass plays or just something to get us open, crossing pick plays, just something, like anything. Like so, you just got to plan for Calvin to be out when he comes back. It's just an additive, and I'm sure, like I said, that offense can try to find some success, like I said, with Ridley in there, like just being additive. But you definitely got to change your game plan around, and I think that just involves like shorter, quicker plays, getting the ball in guys' hands so they can make a play. Yeah, no, I'd agree.
I'm absolutely on your mark, man. You said the right words. You put in the right ideas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how we need to work with in the next weeks, and we will see what Arthur Smith is going to do. Right.
Well, go on, Cal.
I was going to say one more question before Dane takes over. Do you see anyone coming in? Like, I think maybe another wide receiver could come in. Obviously, everything's going to be on minimum wage anyway. But could you see anyone being traded before tomorrow's deadline? That's another question because you never. That is a good question. You never know with this organization.
I would be surprised.
I would be a little bit surprised if they sent somebody out. Maybe. Sorry, my cat's in the way. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if they did bring somebody in, maybe like a John Brown. I know he was a popular name early on. Probably like a big play guy. I don't really know I know Deshaun Jackson was one that was rumored to be on the trade market. They're gonna try to move him, but it's like I don't feel like we need him. It's not really a game changer or anything. So I mean, maybe some names I'm not thinking about at the moment that we can probably either trade for or bring in, but I'd just be surprised if they do anything, honestly. I feel like they got to rock with this roster for the rest of the year, and then we try to make something shake in the offseason.
I guess it would also not be in the plan for Terry Fontenot not giving away the picks you need to build the future with. So in the next years, you need to get your franchise project started, and acquiring a wide receiver now who's not in the free agency but with another team would mean to give away some picks. Yeah, and I don't like this idea, and I guess our manager don't like it as well, but we will see.
We'll see. Well, I don't know if you all caught the comment then that says give Debo away for 3 first-round picks, but I mean, we're already short as it is. I don't think we can be giving away anything really now.
we need everything. We have so much projects we need to get fixed in the next 2 years. Yeah. Like our defense side of the ball, the pass rush, our O-line. There's some problems.
Right, just before we call it a night, boys, we'll do a couple of minutes on the game against the Aints coming up this weekend. Any predictions or expectations? Of course, they're probably going to... It's not the Saints that we're used to playing over the last few years. They're not up to the level they have been. However, nor are we. So it's still not an easy game, and when it's a derby or a rivalry game, then it can go either way. So, how are we all feeling? Confident?
I also think with Winston being out, I don't think it makes much difference because they used Hill last year and he fucking dominated the game twice against us. So. And I don't. Who's the other quarterback who went in the other day? Who obviously ended up winning in the game? Well, obviously I know he's a Tom Brady pick, which was obviously very nice to see, but bit of a lose-lose situation last night when I watched some of that game. But
Ian
I
Buck.
think I said to Danny, I was annoyed last night when we lost, but because we were sort of so bad and it was just one of them boring game, it sort of took over. But if we have the same amount of effort we put in last night, I think fans would be fucking boiling over if we get battered by them. I don't care. They're on a better win ratio, that's fine. But this is a rival. You can't let a rival just walk over you.
And the last 4 rivals goes to the Aints.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jelani, you're muted.
You guys hear me now?
There
Yeah.
you go.
She knocked out my thing, so I thought I couldn't. I thought I would when I was talking earlier. It wasn't coming up, but I don't have no expectations whatsoever. But like Cal just said, the expectation is you got to compete. Like if we do take an L, you can't get blown out. This is the number one team. Like if there's any team that we shouldn't be getting blown out by, or we have to be competitive or look competitive in, it's the Saints, because it's just the bad blood between the two franchises. Like each and every time, like we play them, especially the guys that they've had there for years, like Cameron Jordan. Alvin Kamara, even Malcolm Jenkins, Marshawn Lattimore, like those guys come to play. Like they're coming and they're hitting. Like the last few years, we've looked pretty soft and pretty stagnant, and not like we're ready for the game. So Arthur Smith, that's the one thing that we got to do. Like he has to do, like at least get them up for the game. Like no matter how down we are about this loss, or maybe Ridley not being in the lineup, or other injuries, whatever the case may be. Like he has to get them up for this game, because I think this one, I feel like the first one, I feel like is on the road. I think we play there, and that place is definitely going to be jumping. Like there's no doubt about it. And like I said, they're coming off a big win, and like you just said, like it's not going to be much of a drop off between Winston and Trevor Siemian, in my opinion, at the moment. Winston did his job. He won them games. It wasn't pretty, but he did what he had to do. Trevor Siemian came in, stepped in, and looked really good yesterday. So he has a chance to do that against a defense that is definitely subpar, unlike the Bucs defense. So we just have to be ready on all the chords. Like I said, offensively, I feel like it's going to be a tough day regardless. But if we're able,
you've got to make the effort. If you get beat, you get beat. But you can't be rolling over. You can't come in and just.
You just got to, you got to make it a competitive game. Like
that's something that we have started to show a little bit until yesterday. We have started to show a little bit of fight and a little bit of grit, but where that went yesterday, I will never know. So you've just got to hope that that was kind of the kick up the arse that they need to think, right, we need to get our heads down and work on it this week. And it's down to Smith and Pease to sort some plays out, because if we do anything like what we did yesterday, we're going to get absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
Smoked.
They're feeling good about themselves for sure. Like they're they might be tied now for the top. Yeah. They're either half game back, because I think they had a bye as well. So they're a half game back. I think they're 5-2. And then the Bucs are 6-2. So they're licking their chops. They're looking at us as a practice scrimmage, get that one out the way. We'll move on to the rest of the schedule to a possible, divisional title. So we got to come ready to play.
We're hitting the road and we're going to be the big underdog. But to be honest, on the road, over the last 2 or 3 years, we play better than in our own stadium.
Yeah,
we don't play good in our home stadium.
So sad. And the only thing I can hope for next Sunday is the team will play lights out. That's the only thing I'm going to hope for, and making an outstanding, surprising big game. And we need a kind of this game for our fans, for the mentality of the guys playing. After the last weeks, it were kind of easy matches. We finished in a close way, but we won. And there was evolving in the team. So I saw the team evolving, getting together, playing together. And I hope that this will not break together after this loss at home. So I really hope we play lights out and shock the Aints. Losing the 5th time in a row would be damaging my heart.
I don't think next week show will be very
will be hard. Will be very hard next week.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of swearing in it anyway. I think.
Yeah, big time. But,
But
I don't like to play against Jason though. Better
Normally,
Winston, but I'm not Winston out.
Normally we'd do score predictions, but I really don't want us to jinx anything. So if we don't do them this week and just leave it and just hope for the best,
yeah,
I think that'll probably top it
that's
off
the score
nicely.
prediction. Hope for the best.
I think at that note, lads, we'll call it a night. Not actually quite as negative as I thought it'd be, considering it was such a poor game.
Yeah.
We managed to pull the little sparks out, so it's not been too bad. But thank you both for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching at home and all of your comments and everything like that. Like you all know, we've got the Aints this weekend, so we'll try and get a show in on Monday, but that's going to be so dependent on the result because we might need a few more days to
process.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you both for coming on. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch you all next week.
Thank you so much for taking.
Thank you guys
for having me. Have a good night. Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah, appreciate it.